Imagine this. It's the dead of night. Not just dark, but a deep, inky blackness that swallows everything. You're in a small boat, miles from shore, on the Sea of Galilee. This isn't a peaceful little lake tonight. It's a monster. The wind is screaming, a relentless howl that seems to come from all directions at once. The waves are like liquid mountains, crashing over the sides of your boat, drenching you in cold, salty spray. Every muscle in your body aches from rowing, pulling with all your might against a force that feels like it wants to tear the boat apart. This is the scene for Jesus' disciples. They're seasoned fishermen, they know this sea. But tonight is different. Tonight, they are truly afraid. The storm isn't just a storm. It feels like chaos itself, and they are right in the middle of it, completely helpless. Their hope is draining away with every wave that crashes over them. In that moment of pure terror and exhaustion, when they think things can't possibly get any worse, one of them points a trembling finger out into the churning darkness. He shouts, but his voice is almost lost in the wind. "Look! Over there!" Everyone strains their eyes, peering into the storm, and they see it. A figure moving across the water, not swimming, not thrashing against the waves, but walking on the surface of the raging sea as if it were a paved road. The disciples' fear turns into a new kind of terror. What could possibly walk on water in the middle of a supernatural storm? Their minds jump to the only conclusion they can grasp. "It's a ghost!" they cry out, their voices filled with panic. The boat is filled with shouts and prayers, a jumble of raw fear. They're convinced they're seeing a spirit, an omen from the deep. But then, a voice cuts through the roar of the wind and the crashing of the waves. It's a voice they know. It's calm, it's steady, and it's filled with an authority that silences the storm in their hearts, even if the one outside still rages. "Take heart," the voice says. "It is I. Do not be afraid." It's Jesus. The same Jesus who had just fed 5,000 people with a few loaves and fish. The same Jesus who had healed the sick and given sight to the blind. Now he's defying the very laws of nature, walking on a sea that professional sailors were terrified of. He wasn't fighting the storm. He was above it, completely in control. The disciples' terror begins to morph into sheer, dumbfounded awe. Their master is here, and he's doing the impossible. Among the disciples, there's always one who's a little more impulsive, a little more passionate than the rest: Peter. While the others are still trying to process what they're seeing, Peter's mind is racing. Is it really him? If it is, then anything is possible. A wild, audacious idea sparks in his heart. He cups his hands around his mouth and shouts over the wind, "Lord, if it's really you, command me to come to you on the water." It's a crazy request, a test of faith born from a surge of adrenaline and wonder. He's not just asking for a sign. He's asking to participate in the miracle. He wants to step out of the relative safety of the boat and into the impossible. And Jesus, seeing the flicker of faith in Peter's heart, gives a simple, powerful, one-word answer: "Come." That one word is all it takes. Peter doesn't hesitate. He swings his legs over the side of the boat, his friends probably shouting at him, telling him he's crazy. But his eyes are locked on Jesus. He places one foot onto the churning water, and it holds. It feels solid beneath him. He takes a breath and puts his other foot down. He's standing on the water. He takes a step, then another, walking towards Jesus. For a few incredible moments, Peter is doing the impossible. He's sharing in his master's power, his faith connecting him to the divine. The wind is still howling, the waves are still crashing, but in that moment, none of it matters. All that matters is the face of Jesus, shining like a beacon in the storm. But the storm is real. A massive wave swells up beside him, a wall of dark water. Lightning flashes across the sky, illuminating the chaos around him. For just a split second, Peter's focus breaks. He glances away from Jesus and looks down at the raging sea beneath his feet. And that's when reality, The world's reality comes crashing back in. He remembers he's just a man. He remembers that men can't walk on water, and fear, cold and immediate, floods his heart. The faith that held him up evaporates. Instantly, he begins to sink. The solid ground beneath his feet turns to water, and he's going under. In that moment of pure panic, he does the only thing he can. He cries out, "Lord, save me!" His cry isn't lost in the storm. Before he's completely submerged, a hand reaches out and grabs him. It's Jesus' hand, strong and sure. He pulls Peter up from the water, holding him steady. As Peter stands there, dripping and trembling, Jesus looks at him, not with anger, but with a gentle rebuke. "You of little faith," he says, "why did you doubt?" It wasn't a scolding, but a question to make him think. Why, after seeing the miracle, after participating in it, did you let fear and doubt take over? Jesus wasn't disappointed that Peter sank. He was pointing out that Peter had the ability to walk the whole way. His doubt was the only thing that made him sink. Doubt is the anchor that pulls us down when faith is trying to lift us up. Together, Jesus and Peter walk back to the boat. The moment they step inside, something incredible happens. The wind stops, not just dies down, but ceases to exist. The raging waves flatten out, and the sea becomes as calm and smooth as glass. The sudden absolute silence is more shocking than the storm itself. The chaos is gone, replaced by a profound peace that settles over everyone and everything. The disciples, who had just been fighting for their lives, are now sitting in a silent boat on a tranquil sea, staring at Jesus. They had seen him perform miracles before, but this was different. He hadn't just healed a person or multiplied food. He had commanded the very elements of creation. He had demonstrated power over nature itself. In the stillness, the disciples look at each other, and then they look at Jesus. The fear is gone. The doubt is gone. All that's left is pure, unadulterated awe and worship. They fall to their knees in the bottom of the boat. There are no more questions, no more frantic cries. One by one, their voices barely a whisper, they make a declaration that changes everything. "Truly," they say, "you are the Son of God." It's no longer a suspicion or a hope. It's a certainty, forged in the heart of a storm and proven on the surface of the water. They understood that the man in their boat wasn't just a great teacher or a prophet. He was the Lord of the storm, the master of the sea, and the Savior who reaches out his hand the moment we cry out to him. This story reminds us that even when the storms of life are raging, we need to keep our eyes on him. Doubt will make us sink, but his hand is always there to pull us back up. Thanks for watching. If this story touched you, please like, share, and subscribe for more.